guys, it's Andy from Man City Fan TV and welcome to week 13 of the Predictions League. And we've got our usual guests on the channel. We've got Ryan, we've got Martin, we've got Kiam, who are all going to give their Premier League prediction scores for this weekend. So first off, what we're going to do is we're going to just quickly run through the fixtures for this week, starting off on Saturday. And that is the 12:30 kickoff, and that is West Ham versus Tottenham Hotspur with their new manager, Jose Mourinho. Then the 3 o'clock kickoff start, and that is Bournemouth versus Wolves. We've then got Arsenal versus Southampton. We've got Brighton at home to Leicester City. Crystal Palace take on Liverpool. Everton take on Norwich. Watford take on Burnley. Then moving through to the later kickoff on Saturday, that's ourselves at 17:30. That's Manchester City versus Chelsea, which should be an absolute cracking game. Moving through to Sunday, we have just the one game on Sunday, which is a 4:30, a 16:30 kickoff. That is Sheffield United versus Manchester United. And then we have a Monday night game, which we've not had one for a while, which kicks off at 8 o'clock, and that is Aston Villa versus Newcastle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand over to the guys. I'll come back later and I'll give you my score predictions for this week's games, and we'll also have a look at the table and where it stood 2 weeks ago before we had the international break. So first up, I'm going to hand you over to Ryan.
Hello guys. It's Ryan, and I'm here with my predictions for game week 13. So I've gone West Ham 0, Tottenham 2, AFC Bournemouth 3, Wolves 1, Arsenal 2, Southampton 1, Brighton 1, Leicester 4, Crystal Palace 0, Liverpool 2, Everton 3, Norwich 0, Watford 1, Burnley 1, Manchester City 2, Chelsea 0, Sheffield United 2, Manchester United 0, and Aston Villa 2, Newcastle United 1. I'll start with City. Obviously we lost last week, but I don't think it was a bad performance really. I think it was a very 50-50 game, and decisions went against us quite clearly. Chelsea are in good form, but their defence is very leaky. I think they give up the most high quality chance. Give up one of the most high quality chances in the league. So I think if we can't score, I feel like we'll win, essentially. Tottenham have just got in Mourinho, which I think's not a good appointment. I don't know why they've got rid of Poch, but I'm happy to go and see Poch shine somewhere else. But obviously with the new manager, I think they'll get the new manager boost, probably win at the weekend against West Ham. Bournemouth versus Wolves could go either way for me. Wolves have conceded 15 goals so far this season, and they've scored 16, so they're could be a tight game, but I've gone for Bournemouth overpowering them with the attack. Arsenal, Southampton, just kind of giving it to Arsenal. They're at home. I think Aubameyang will pull through for them. Southampton still seem pretty useless, other than the game where they decided to show up, which was against us. Brighton, Leicester. I like how Brighton have been playing. Connolly, who's just come in at striker for them, has been doing quite well, but I think Leicester will have too much for them. Obviously 29 goals so far this season. I think that's second most in the league. I think Vardy can get a couple here. Crystal Palace, Liverpool. I don't see Palace putting up much of a fight, really. Just a simple win. Everton, Norwich is the same. I don't see Norwich. I already think Norwich are down. I said this at the start of the season. Everton should have enough to get 2 or 3. Watford, Burnley, I think is very 50-50. Watford had an alright result last weekend. I think they had an alright result. I don't think they lost. Just a 1-1 draw, very boring. Then Sheffield United, Man United. Sheffield have the second best defence in the league behind Leicester. or have conceded the second least goals or whatever. Man United is still very meh. Defence isn't the best still, so I've gone for Sheffield United to get 2. And then Aston Villa Newcastle could go either way. I've given it to Villa. So make sure you get your predictions in the Discord. You should be able to see the full table if Andy shows it. I will send that to him. So get your predictions in the Discord, and back to Andy.
Okay, thanks a lot for that, Ryan. And don't forget, as he said, go over. Ryan looks after the Discord Premier League predictions. So if you're not already on Discord, go over and check out Discord. So next up, we've got one of our presenters, and that is Martin.
Hi everyone, Martin here, Man City on TV. Just want to come at you with my predictions for this weekend. So I'm going to start. What a week it's been for the Tottenham fans, and I think they're going to get the Jose Mourinho boost, because I think West Ham are in free fall under Pellegrini, and I've got Pellegrini as favourite to be the next one to be sacked for me in the Premier League. So you won't be surprised to hear I've gone for West Ham United 1, Tottenham Hotspur 3. Then we're going to move on to Arsenal Southampton. If there was ever a home banker, this is it. Southampton are awful, and don't score goals. So, and Arsenal score bucket loads with their front line. Even with Arsenal's dodgy defence, I don't think it'll be an issue. So I'm going for Arsenal 3, Southampton 1. Then I'm going to Bournemouth 2, Wolves 1. This is going to be a close game, this, but I like the way Eddie Howe plays football, and I just think the home advantage will count here. So 2-1 to Bournemouth. On to Brighton against the league's surprise package, Leicester City. I've gone for a 1-1 draw. I think Brighton have really got some good form going at the moment under Graham Potter. And Leicester, what can I say, absolutely outstanding this season. And I'm going for a 1-1 draw though, so I think they'll play each other out there. Moving on to Crystal Palace against Liverpool. I'm going for Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2. I don't think Liverpool are playing great, despite what everyone's saying, in the media. I don't think they're playing good football at all. I think that they're pinching wins, but that's what champions or champions-elect, I suppose, do. And yes, I did say champions-elect, because I think 9 points. Yes, we've done it before. Are Liverpool going to let it go for a third or fourth time? I'm not so sure on that one. I think there's a different mentality now there, and I'm not sure about whether our injuries are going to come back in time. So yeah, Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2. On to Everton. Callum will be an happy bunny with this one. I've gone for an easy 3-1 win. I've given Norwich a goal because I think they can score goals, but I think this will be a comfortable win for Everton. This 3-1, quite comfortable. Norwich, I think they're going down quicker than a Titanic. But yeah, just my opinion. Watford, Burnley. I've gone for a Watford 2, Burnley 1. Again, Watford showing some spirit, showing some a little bit of guile, a little bit of fight back since a horrendous start to the season, but showing some good form under the new manager. So I'm going for a Watford 2, Burnley 1. So I think Burnley just, again, atrocious at the moment. Then on to ourselves, the big game for Saturday night, City, Chelsea. I'm going for a City 3, Chelsea 2, close game. But yeah, I think we'll do it, Blues. And then on Sheffield United, Manchester United, I've gone for a 2-2 draw. Sheffield United 2, Manchester United 2. I think this will be a very exciting and close game, and I think it'll be the game of the weekend, if you want my honest opinion. I think Sheffield United are playing some great football, great team spirit. Chris Wilder's installed there. And Man United, well, all is at the wheel. That's all I need to say. And then to the Monday night game, Aston Villa at home to Newcastle United. I've gone for an Aston Villa 2, Newcastle 1 win for Aston Villa, home win. Even though Newcastle have got some great form at the moment, I just think Villa at home, touch stronger. Yeah, and I do like the way Aston Villa play football. So yeah, I'm going to go for a Aston Villa 2-1 win. So that's my predictions for the weekend. Hopefully I'll do a little bit better than I did last time, and my heart will not rule my head this time and I'll go changing my results. But yeah, Martin 8, Man City Fan TV. I'll see you guys later. Up the Blues.
Okay, thanks very much, Martin. Now over to our FIFA series presenter, and that is Kiam.
Thanks, Andy. Here we go then, game week 13. These are my predictions. So I've gone for West Ham 1, Spurs 2. I think Spurs are going to have a little bit of energy. They're going to be up for it. It's a local derby. I think with Mourinho arriving, they're going to have a bit too much for West Ham. I've gone for Bournemouth 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2. Now, Bournemouth are pretty strong at home. I just think Wolves are going to be a little bit too strong for them. I think they've got the players that can finish. I think they will probably take more chances than Bournemouth, although it will be a tight game, that one. The next one is Arsenal 3, Southampton 1. So I think Arsenal are going to be pretty strong at home. I know they're not the best away from home, but I think they'll deal with Southampton pretty comfortably. Southampton came to the Etihad, didn't they? They put up a bit of a fight. I can't see them doing that. They might do it, early on for 20 minutes or so, but then I think Arsenal will take over. They'll get a 3-1 win at home. I've gone for Brighton 1, Leicester City 2. So Brighton, they can be a handful at home. When the crowd are up for it, they can be tricky to deal with. So I think they'll score. But I think Leicester are in fantastic form at the moment. I think they're going to pull through on that one and pick up another 3 points for Brendan Rodgers. And then I've gone for Crystal Palace 0, Liverpool 1. And the rumours I'm hearing are that Robertson and Salah may be missing that game. So I think it may be a case of VAR stepping in just to help them out. And they may get a late penalty or some sort of iffy decision, shall we say. And they'll win that one very narrowly by 1-0. I've then gone for Everton 2, Norwich City 0. Now I think Everton, they've not been that great, but at home against Norwich, I think it's going to be a comfortable win. I can't see them having any difficulty at all. I think they're going to win that game. No problems. Norwich, they're done for me. They're going to end up going down. I think they've had the moment this season beating City. Next fixture we're going to look at is Watford against Burnley, and I've gone for Watford 2, Burnley 2. Now I think Watford are going to put up a bit of a fight in this game, but Burnley, they're just tricky customers, aren't they? When they play away from home, they're quite solid. 2 banks of 4. I think they've got the players who can probably nick them a goal as well, so I can see that one being a score draw. And then the next game is our game, Manchester City versus Chelsea. And it is game week 13. 13 is unlucky for some, and I think this week we are going to struggle. I've got to say, I'm not confident with Fernandinho at centre-back. I'm not confident with the injuries that we've had, missing Laporte, we're missing Sané. I think we've got players like Kevin De Bruyne half fit. Bernardo's out because of his one-match ban. I just don't think things are going our way at the moment, and I think we're going to struggle. And I know we're at home, and I know we beat Chelsea 6-0 last season, but the circumstances are very different. Chelsea are the team who are in form, and I actually think Chelsea are going to nick it at the Etihad. I think we might score a goal, but I think Chelsea might nick a 2-1 victory at the Etihad. I hope I'm wrong. I really do hope I'm wrong. And if they do, I think that's pretty much season over. And then Sheffield United against Manchester United. So I've gone for a 2-1 Manchester United victory. I think Sheffield will put up a good fight. Obviously, they've got a good record defensively. They're quite strong. But I think United, with Martial finding a little bit of form, they seem to have turned a corner, because I don't want to start this. I'm not, one of these Ollie at the wheel clowns that they have on their fan channel. It's pretty obvious they're struggling still, but I think Sheffield United will be a straightforward win for them. 2-1 away from home. And then I've gone for Aston Villa 2, Newcastle United 1, and I think that's the Monday night fixture. I think Aston Villa at home Monday night, the crowd will be up for it. under the lights. I think that'll be a little bit too much for Newcastle to cope with. Newcastle are very hit and miss. And I think Aston Villa will actually get a home win. So 2-1 to Aston Villa. So those are my predictions. Thanks, Andy. And good luck to everyone else with their predictions.
Thanks, Kiam. And wow, you're still top of the table by all accounts, but we'll come to the table at the end. So that leads me back to my score predictions for this weekend. So first up, what we've got West Ham United versus Tottenham. So if we take a look at where these two teams are, they're pretty much sort of 2/3 of the table down. Tottenham currently residing 14th position on 14 points, but they've got the special one, according to him, who was just shockingly taken over. I don't know where it's shockingly for the Spurs fans, but it was a big shock. Pochettino has gone, and Mourinho immediately took his position. So moving on to Tottenham, well, their last 5 games have been pretty abysmal. Lost, drawn, and drawn. While West Ham got really surprised down in 16th, played 12 games on 13 points, and their last 5 has been shocking. Loss, draw, loss, and a loss. So, yeah, I think even though it's going to be sort of a London derby, I can't see anything other than Spurs turning up for their first game under Mourinho, and I'm going for West Ham 1, Tottenham 3. And on to Bournemouth. Bournemouth are playing Wolves at home, and if we take a look at the table currently for these two teams, well, Bournemouth are doing so-so, let's say. They've done okay, but they're a very inconsistent team. They're currently in 9th on 16 points. The last 5 games have been a loss, a draw, then a win, then another loss, and Wolves are literally on the same points, but slightly better form. They had a win, a draw, and another win last week, which says to me, very tight game. So I'm going to go for Bournemouth 1, Wolves 1. On to Arsenal versus Southampton. Well, if we look at Arsenal, they're currently residing 6th, even though everyone, Arsenal fans seem to complain about them all the time. They are just outside the top 4, even though they're sort of 8 points off there. They are behind Sheffield United. They currently are on 17 points. Their last 5 games have been a win, a loss, a draw, and then another loss. However, if we take Southampton, absolute freefall. They're down in 19th on 8 points after 12 games. A loss, a draw, a loss, and yet another loss, which says to me Arsenal are going to win this. And I'm going to go for Arsenal 2, Southampton 1. Next up, we have Brighton versus Leicester. Now, Brighton have done really well lately. Albeit they got beat last week, but they're in 11th place, which I think is far higher than where I expected them to be. They're currently on 15 points. The last 5 games have been a win, a loss, a win, and then they got a defeat last week, where, as we know, Leicester flying high in second place on goal difference. They're on 26 points, and they're going into this game on a loss, a win. So they're going to try and potentially make this 5 on the bounce. So they're playing really, really well, and I think it's going to be enough to beat Brighton, because we know on the day Brighton can be a real surprise package. So I'm going to go for Brighton 1, Leicester City 2. On to the game which only a few seasons ago sort of defined Liverpool's season, and that was the Crystal Palace Liverpool game. Well, I've got to be hopeful on this one. Crystal Palace are in 12th. They're on 15 points. A win, a loss, a draw, a loss, and another loss. So they need something. Otherwise, they could have several teams overtake them this weekend. As we know, Liverpool are riding a crest of the wave up in first place on 34 points, a win, a draw, a win, a win, and a win. But there are rumours that potentially a couple of players could be missing this weekend for Liverpool, including Mo Salah. So I've got to be hopeful that Palace can pull something out the bag. They always seem to play well against Liverpool. So I'm going for Palace 1, Liverpool 1. On to Everton versus Norwich. Wow. Well, you would expect this potentially would be an easy 3 points, considering Norwich are propping up the league on 7 points. I mean, their form over the last 5 games has just been awful. A loss, a draw, a loss, and another loss. However, Everton, pretty inconsistent. A loss, a win, a loss, a draw, a win, a good win last week. They're currently in 15th place on 14 points, but I don't think it's going to be easy for them. I think it's about time Norwich turned this around, turned up at some stadium and put on a good performance. Otherwise, by Christmas they could be almost relegated at this rate of knots. But I'm going to go for a tight one here. I'm going to go for Everton 1, Norwich to bounce back this season. So I'm going to go Everton 1, Norwich for this weekend 1. Watford versus Burnley is next. Well, if we take a look at Watford and where they are currently, well, they're lying third from bottom. Again, only a point ahead of Norwich. So 18th position, 8 points. They got a win last week, which sort of projected them up, because God knows they'd be actually stone bottom of the season so far. And so they've got a draw, a loss, and a win, which has given them 8 points. Whilst Burnley, on the other hand, they've got a good win last week, which projects them up to 10th. On 15 points. Their last 5 games have been a win, a loss, a loss, a loss. But that win last week was all important. Therefore, because it's going to be a tight game, I'm going to go for Watford 1, Burnley 1. On to the big one. Well, City, the last game on Saturday evening versus Chelsea. We're at home. We know Bernardo Silva is out. He's got to serve his 1 match ban. Chelsea, absolutely brilliant so far under Frank Lampard. And I'm just hopeful that after this international break, we've got a few players back. David Silva potentially back. We'll know tomorrow at Pep's press conference who is back. Rodri obviously played for Spain. And we had Riyad Mahrez playing as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if Mahrez came back in to the fold for Saturday in replacement for Bernardo Silva, or maybe the Stockport Iniesta will get an opportunity in the team. But I'm going to stick. I think Mahrez will come back in. So my prediction for Saturday is a close and possibly maybe a goal in either half. I'm going to go for Manchester City 2, Chelsea 0. On to Sunday's game, that's the only one of the day. That's Sheffield United versus Manchester United. Well, you only have to look at Sheffield United, currently in 5th place, which is absolutely incredible. They're on 17 points. Their last 5 fixtures have been a draw, a win, a draw, a win, and another draw. So if you follow that on, naturally you might think they're due a win, whilst Manchester United, picking up those 3 points last week, have moved up significantly. They are now in 7th place on 16 points, just behind Sheffield United. However, I think because Sheffield United are at home this weekend, I'm going to go for a very, very tight Sheffield United 1, Manchester United 1. And to the Monday night game, which is Villa versus Newcastle. Well, if we take a look at, say, Aston Villa first, well, Aston Villa so far just outside the bottom 3 in 17th position on 11 points. Their last 3 games have all been losses. They've had a win, and then 3 losses on the bounce. Whilst Newcastle have done the opposite, basically. They're in 13th position on 15 points, a win, a loss, a draw, and then picked up 2 wins, which has pushed them up that table because they were flirting with sort of relegation. So, going to be a tight one, but I've got a feeling Villa might bounce back in this one. And with Newcastle being away from home, I think Villa at home might be too strong for Newcastle. And I'm going to go for Aston Villa 2, Newcastle 0. Okay, on to the table then. And this was obviously at the end of the Week 12's games. And that was 2 weeks ago. It's been forever. So let's have a look. We've got Kiam. He's the Liverpool of the current prediction league. He's on 66 points. Barnhouse is on 53, with Ryan Corrie on the same points in third. Martin from Man City Fan TV is on 45. Ethan Aspinall's in fifth on 43, along with Bernard Deneen on 43. Callum's on 40, along with Section 20. Sargent is on 38. I'm in exactly the same position, mid-table, on 36 points. And then there's a bit of a gap down to 11th. Gory Metz on 28. Dank City on 25. Mingi Wong on 24. Another big jump back to Alex on 16. Another jump to Darren on 9. Ashkith is on 6. Daniel De Bruyne is on 6. Aguero's Cute is on 5. And still True Blue 1972 is propping up the Discord Predictions League on 4 points. So anyway, this is Andy from Man City Fan TV. Don't forget, get your predictions in below this particular video. Go over, join Discord if you haven't already, and there'll be a link in the description below. And get your predictions in. Anyway, let's just hope 3 points for City, and let's hope Crystal Palace do us a number on Liverpool. But anyway, take care. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell icon. Get your predictions and comments in below this video. Take care, Blues.